It's 10 a.m. on a Monday morning. It's super gloomy outside and not an ideal situation to shoot any sort of indoor YouTube videos, but we can just fix it. With a good cup of coffee. And obviously improved lighting. What's up everyone, Pursuit of Shutter here. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you people are doing good. And today we're going to talk about reverse engineering two key features of Lightroom and use it in the exact opposite direction of what it is intended for, to achieve some supernatural effects like adding fake sun rays or fog to your moody photos right from Lightroom itself without any intervention of Photoshop or any other overlay stuff that you need to spend hours to find from internet. So, and just in case you were a paid version user of Lightroom mobile itself, you can do the exact same thing on a mobile itself. That sounds crazy, but it isn't groundbreaking or anything like that. So about the two features that we are going to talk about today in Lightroom. The first one is the dehaze filter and the second one is the selective tools, obviously. And when it comes down to the dehaze filter, it is there to help you remove environmental haze, fog or mist from your photos. What if we just reverse its use and decrease it all the way? It will add fog, mist all over your photo, and that's where the selective tools comes to play. You don't want your fog or the light rays all over your photos. You want it in some selected portion of your photo, or even for adding fogs you might want some advanced control over it, like the intensity in different portion of the photos. So with all this being said, without any further delay, let's jump straight into Lightroom and show you how this is being done. So I have already imported this photo into Adobe Camera Raw, which is basically same as the develop module of Lightroom. So the functionality is going to be same. So this photo was taken back in 2019 in Kolkata on a cold winter night. So there's enough fog, mist in the photo already. Also there are street lights, so it will be helpful for us to add some fake rays maybe, just to show or demonstrate you how this is being done. So firstly, let's zoom in a bit so that I can show you what the dehaze filter actually does. I am zooming it and focusing on the part where actually the fogs are appearing around the street lights and the trees. Now let's pull the dehaze filter to the right and see how it works. Pulling it all the way to 100 just adds so much of contrast and sharpening every pixels, causing it adding more noises. This photo was already shot on something around 640 ISO on a crop sensor body, so yeah, a lot of noise already. And if you just zoom out, you can see the whole photo got so much more punchier and so much more crispier, and doesn't look good at all. It looks dark, it looks muddy, and all the fogs are literally gone. Now let's just reset it to its default values. And now the natural fogs are back. And now what if we pull it all the way back to -100? What it does is adds more fog, more mist, more haze, and it causes more softness to the photo. But we don't want it to globally affect everything that's in the frame, like for our subject and other significant things. We want them as it is in the photo. So let's just reset it, and that's where the selective tool comes to play. And for this example we will be playing around with the adjustment brush, so let's do it. So we will start off by adding some fog to this photo first, and then we will go on to add light rays to the street lights. So here's an important theory that's going to help you get these things realistic as possible. This is the closer it is to the camera, the more visibility will be in that portion and the fog will be lesser, and as it moves farther away from the camera, the more fog will be induced and there will be lesser visibility. And let's use this theory and add some depth to this photo. So with the adjustment brush being selected, let's play around with the size ladder. We will keep the feather all the way up so the transition of every brush strokes looks seamless. We will keep the flow lower as of now. Let's keep the density as it is now, and let's reset these settings first. So we will go on to pull up the exposure a bit to around plus 1.5. We won't be touching contrast, highlights, shadows, whites and blacks as of now. Let's pull the black up a bit for now. We can always come back and play around with the settings later. Let's keep it around plus 30. We will pull the dehaze all the way down so that we can get that foggy look. We won't be touching the hue, saturation, all these things for now. Maybe we can calm down later and add some color to our light rays when it is being added. But for now, let's keep it like that only. So with the brush being selected, let's just play around with the size by pressing third bracket opening and closing button. And with a brush size like this, let's just paint over this area. So the density looks higher, so we can't go with this density value. Let's just undo all these things, pull the density low and paint it over this area again to give a subtle foggy look to this area. As this area is already closer to the camera, this will look fake if we add much fog to this area. As we move further, we will add another brush, and with some sort of increased density and maybe flow, we are going to paint this area with a bigger brush and add those foggy looks. So I will speed this process up so that it doesn't look boring. And just in case you paint over some unwanted area, like for the taxi or the subject, you can always press down the Alt button and paint over all the unwanted areas so that the fogs don't interrupt between your subject and your background or foreground. So now we will be showing you how to add light rays to this. The theory will be the same, and the only thing we are going to play around is, let's just take another adjustment brush. We will pull the size down to around something that looks realistic with this, the size of the street lights. The street light is already dispersing through the thick layer of fog, so it is already there, but all we want to do is enhance those light rays. All we need to do is just start off in the exact this position and draw a straight line in the direction of light itself. Same for this. Let's just do it. I am not going for perfection as this is for demonstration purpose. You can just play around with this and you are pretty much good to go. So let's just see a before and after of this. So this is the before and this is the after. And now, just in case you want to play around with all the settings, you can play around with the exposure to make those light rays even more vivid. Pull the contrast down, play around with the highlights, and you can play around with all the settings to get your desired looks. As the color grading is applied before the fog is being added or the light rays are being added, so you might want your fog or light rays to turn to the highlight and shadow tint of your color grading. For example, maybe a bluish tint in this light might look better, so you can just play around with the hue over here. Just make sure you pull the saturation all the way up so you have a good idea of what amount of color is going to get added. Just play around with the hue slider, get your desired color, and then pull the saturation down according to your taste. So that's it for today. Hope this video was helpful, and this should not be something you have thought of it previously. So with all this being said, if this video was beneficial to you in some way or the other, just hit the thumbs up button. That might just help me, or you might consider subscribing to my channel if you like this video or anything similar to this. Also, I will be coming up with my color grading workflow of this year. very soon, probably in the next week. And stay tuned. See you in the next video, and bye bye.